Mistakes that make eggs harmful to your health. Eggs. A staple in nearly every household, from the simplest breakfast to the most elaborate recipes. They've been a part of our diets for as long as anyone can remember, nourishing our bodies with protein, vitamins, and minerals. You've probably had eggs for breakfast every day or made them part of a quick meal without giving much thought to their origins or how you prepare them. After all, eggs are supposed to be good for you, right? They're a source of protein, vitamins, and energy. But here's something you may not have considered. The way you handle, cook, and eat eggs can actually turn them from a healthy choice into a potential health hazard. That's right, those innocent little eggs that sit quietly in your fridge might be more dangerous than you think, especially when prepared or consumed incorrectly. It's easy to assume that as long as an egg looks good and tastes fine, it's perfectly safe. However, in this fast-paced world, we're often in a rush, rushing to eat, rushing to cook, rushing through life, and we might overlook small but important details. And it's those details that can make all the difference when it comes to your health. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped to think about how you're cooking your eggs, or where they come from, or what's inside them once you crack them open? I'm here to tell you that just as you can make mistakes in the way you treat other foods, there are plenty of mistakes when it comes to eggs. Mistakes that over time could add up and affect your health in ways you don't expect. Maybe it's the way you cook them, maybe it's where they come from, or maybe it's a small thing you never thought twice about. But these mistakes, whether they seem trivial or not, can have a real impact on your well-being. You might be surprised by how many of us unknowingly make these mistakes. Think about it. When was the last time you paid attention to whether the eggs you buy are truly fresh, or if you've cooked them to the right temperature? How often do you pair your eggs with unhealthy fats or ignore the expiration date because they still seem okay? Most of us, myself included, have fallen into these habits, but the truth is there's so much more to eggs than we're taught. As someone who has seen the world change in countless ways, I can tell you that the way we approach food today is vastly different from the ways people in the past did. In my younger years, food wasn't just about convenience, it was about care. People took time to understand their food, where it came from, and how it should be prepared. There was wisdom passed down from one generation to the next about how to get the most nourishment from the simplest ingredients. And when it comes to eggs, I believe the older generations knew something we've forgotten, that how you treat your eggs matters. We've heard about the wonders of eggs all our lives, high in protein, low in carbs, a perfect source of nourishment. But without the proper knowledge, those benefits could easily turn into drawbacks. This is why it's time to take a step back and rethink the way we've been approaching this everyday food. In the following discussion, I'll walk you through the most common mistakes we make with eggs, the mistakes that have the potential to make them harmful to our health. I'll explain why these simple mistakes matter and how you can avoid them to ensure that the eggs you eat remain a source of goodness, not a risk to your health. You might think, how could something so small and simple like an egg be dangerous? Well, I'm here to show you how easy it is to make these mistakes and what the consequences can be. It's not about scaring you, it's about empowering you with the knowledge to make the right choices. In the end, our goal is simple, to enjoy eggs in a way that supports our health, not harms it. So let's get into it. Let's learn how to treat our eggs with the respect they deserve, to avoid the common pitfalls that could turn a healthy meal into something harmful. It's time to rediscover the wisdom of how to handle eggs, and in doing so, make them the nourishing, wholesome food they were always meant to be. Mistake number 1. Overcooking your eggs. The poisonous perils of heat. Now that we've established how important it is to treat eggs with care, let's dive right into the first common mistake I want to talk about: overcooking your eggs. You may not realize it, but overcooking your eggs can transform them from a nourishing food into something that could actually harm your health. It's a simple mistake, and most people make it, but the consequences are far-reaching. Think about the last time you boiled eggs. Were they slightly soft in the middle, or did you leave them on the stove for too long, until the yolk turned an unappetizing shade of grayish-green? That gray ring around the yolk is more than just a visual cue. It's a sign that the egg has been exposed to excessive heat. The longer the egg sits on the heat, the more harmful chemical reactions occur. When eggs are overcooked, the proteins in the egg whites start to break down in unhealthy ways, and the cholesterol in the yolk begins to oxidize. This oxidation process creates a compound known as oxidized cholesterol, and it's something we definitely don't want in our bodies. You see, oxidized cholesterol can contribute to the buildup of plaque in your arteries, which in turn increases your risk of heart disease. When we cook eggs at high temperatures or for too long, we're unknowingly creating these harmful byproducts. And as we get older, we need to be extra mindful of anything that could lead to arterial damage, inflammation, or even atherosclerosis. But here's the thing, cooking eggs doesn't have to be a dangerous game. The wisdom I've carried with me over the years is simple. Eggs should be cooked gently, soft boiling, lightly scrambling, or even lightly frying in a low heat pan. These methods preserve the egg's natural nutrients and ensure that harmful compounds aren't created. If you're boiling eggs, don't let them sit on the heat too long. A perfectly boiled egg should have a soft center, and the yolk should remain a vibrant yellow. That's how we used to cook eggs when we knew they were meant to be treated with respect. It's easy to get in a rush, especially when we're cooking for a busy family, or in the mornings when time is tight. But the benefits of slowing down and cooking your eggs with care far outweigh the risks of overcooking them. It's one of the simplest ways to ensure you're getting the best out of your eggs without compromising your health. So, the next time you crack an egg into a pan, remember, patience is key. It's not just about making something edible, it's about making something nourishing. Mistake number 2, eating eggs from factory farm chickens. The hidden toxins. Let's move on to the next common mistake. One that many people don't even think about when they go to the store, eating eggs from factory farm chickens. Now, I'm not saying that every egg from the supermarket is inherently bad, but there's a world of difference between those eggs and the ones that come from happy, healthy, free-range chickens. When I was younger, people knew where their food came from. You'd get your eggs from the local farm, where chickens were free to roam and peck at the earth, eating a diet of grains, bugs, and other natural foods. Those eggs were fresh, and they came with a certain level of assurance that they were clean and healthy. But today, things are different. Most of the eggs you find in the grocery store come from factory farms, where the conditions are far from ideal for the chickens. In these factory farms, chickens are often confined to cramped, crowded spaces, given little to no room to roam. Their diet is usually made up of processed grains and soy, and they're often fed antibiotics and growth hormones to make them grow faster. And those very things that are meant to make the chickens produce more eggs faster, well, they're ending up in your breakfast. You might not think much of it at first, but eating eggs from factory farm chickens can expose you to all sorts of hidden toxins. The antibiotics and hormones used in factory farming can have a lasting impact on your body. Antibiotics can disrupt the balance of healthy bacteria in your gut, while hormones can interfere with your own natural hormonal balance. Over time, this can lead to issues like digestive problems, hormone imbalances, and even liver damage. There's another layer to this too. Factory-farmed eggs, because they're produced in mass quantities and often stored for longer periods of time, are far less nutrient-dense than eggs from free-range chickens. You see, the diet of the chicken plays a significant role in the nutritional value of the eggs. Chickens that are allowed to forage for natural food sources, grains, seeds, and even insects, lay eggs that are higher in essential nutrients like omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins A and D, and antioxidants. The more natural their diet, the better the quality of the egg. This is why I urge you to make a conscious choice the next time you're at the store. Look for eggs that come from pasture-raised or free-range chickens, eggs that are organic, and eggs that are produced in a humane environment. The difference in taste is remarkable, and more importantly, the difference in the nutritional value is undeniable. You'll be nourishing your body with eggs that are as wholesome as they were meant to be, free from the toxic buildup that factory farming can introduce. And that, my friend, is something worth investing in. Mistake number 3, eating eggs with the shell, a danger to your teeth and gut. Here's a mistake that might seem minor, but it's actually one many of us unknowingly make, eating eggs with the shell still on. Now, before you get too puzzled, let me explain. You may think, what harm could there be in a little extra crunch? Isn't the shell just another part of the egg? Well, the shell is actually more than just a protective casing. It's something our bodies simply aren't designed to break down easily, and consuming it can cause more harm than good. You see, the eggshell is made primarily of calcium carbonate. While it's an essential nutrient for our bones, it's not easily digestible. In fact, our digestive system doesn't have the ability to process hard materials like eggshells. If you try to chew through the shell, you might end up with microfractures in your teeth, which could lead to dental issues down the road. And even if you manage to swallow the shell without damaging your teeth, it can still cause irritation to your digestive system. I remember when I was younger, no one would ever dream of eating an eggshell. We knew that the shell was there for a reason, to protect the delicate egg inside, but it wasn't meant to be consumed. While we might have been tempted to crack an egg and throw it directly into a dish without any extra thought, we always took care to separate the shell and discard it. That was just the right way to handle an egg. The risk doesn't end with your teeth, though. When eggshells are consumed, they can irritate the lining of your stomach and intestines. Over time, this could lead to discomfort, bloating, or even more serious digestive issues. Additionally, eggshells are a potential breeding ground for bacteria if not properly handled, as they can pick up germs from the environment. If you're not washing them thoroughly, this could result in introducing harmful bacteria to your gut, further compromising your health. So the moral of the story here is simple. Always crack your eggs carefully and discard the shell. It's a small act, but it can save your teeth and your stomach from unnecessary harm. In the past, food preparation wasn't just about getting something on the table. It was about handling each ingredient with the knowledge and care it deserved. Eggs were never meant to be eaten whole with the shell, and keeping this tradition alive will ensure that you're treating your body right. Mistake number 4, consuming raw eggs. The silent risk of salmonella and biotin deficiency. Now, let's talk about a trend that's been making the rounds for years: consuming raw eggs. You've probably seen people drink raw eggs in smoothies, protein shakes, or even just in a glass. After all, many athletes and fitness enthusiasts swear by it, believing that raw eggs are an untapped source of protein and other nutrients. But what they often overlook is the hidden danger that comes with consuming raw eggs. I'll be honest. There's a reason why, in the past, consuming raw eggs wasn't something people did casually. Raw eggs carry the risk of salmonella, a potentially dangerous bacteria that can cause food poisoning. In the past, we didn't need fancy studies or experts to tell us the risks. It was simply understood that eating raw eggs could make you very sick, and while modern farming practices have improved the safety of eggs to some extent, the risk of salmonella is still present. Salmonella can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and fever, and it can be particularly harmful to vulnerable populations like the elderly, pregnant women, or young children. Even if you don't get salmonella right away, it's something your body will struggle to fight off. The symptoms can linger, and the bacteria can lead to more severe health issues down the road, including dehydration and even kidney problems. But there's more to the raw egg debate than just foodborne illnesses. Raw eggs contain a protein called avidin, which binds to biotin, a crucial vitamin that helps your body metabolize fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. When you consume raw egg whites, avidin can interfere with your body's ability to absorb biotin, potentially leading to a deficiency if you eat raw eggs regularly. Biotin deficiencies can result in hair loss, skin rashes, and even nerve damage in extreme cases. It's not a concern that happens overnight, but over time, consuming raw eggs could lead to an imbalance that takes a toll on your health. As someone who grew up in an era where health and wellness were taken seriously, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to cook your eggs. Cooking eggs not only kills harmful bacteria, but it also makes the nutrients more bioavailable to your body. The protein in eggs, for example, is much easier for your body to absorb when the eggs are cooked. And when you cook eggs, you deactivate the avidin, allowing your body to absorb the biotin it needs to stay healthy. So, while the idea of raw eggs might seem appealing for some quick protein or for trendy diets, it's simply not worth the risk. The dangers of raw eggs, whether from salmonella or biotin deficiency, far outweigh any supposed benefits. Instead, embrace the wisdom of cooking your eggs thoroughly. A perfectly cooked egg, whether scrambled, poached, or boiled, provides all the benefits without the risks. Don't fall for the myth that raw eggs are somehow healthier. In fact, they're a gamble you don't need to take. Mistake number 5, using the wrong cooking oils. A dangerous combination. Now let's shift our focus to something else many of us don't think about when cooking eggs: choosing the wrong cooking oils. It may seem like a minor detail, but the type of oil you use to cook your eggs can significantly impact your health, especially when it comes to the oils that we tend to reach for without a second thought. You see, some oils are perfectly fine for cooking eggs, while others can actually turn a healthy meal into a harmful one. I'm talking about oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids like vegetable oil or soybean oil, which are often used in many households because they're cheap and easy to find. While these oils might seem harmless at first, they can create serious problems over time, especially when used in cooking eggs. Eggs are a high-protein, high-fat food. When you cook them, you need to be mindful of what kind of fat you're adding to the mix. Some oils like olive oil, avocado oil, or ghee offer heart-healthy fats that complement the nutritional profile of eggs. But oils that are high in omega-6 fatty acids can tip the balance, contributing to inflammation in the body, especially when consumed in large amounts over time. Here's why this matters. Our bodies need a balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, but the modern Western diet tends to be heavily skewed towards omega-6. These omega-6 fats, when consumed in excess, can promote inflammation in the body, which is linked to a variety of chronic conditions, including heart disease, arthritis, and even cancer. When you cook eggs in these oils, you're not just adding a bit of fat to your meal, you're contributing to the imbalance of these essential fatty acids. But this isn't just about what oils you use, it's about the way these oils react to heat. When you heat oils high in omega-6 fatty acids, they break down and release toxic compounds, including free radicals and trans fats. These substances are harmful to your health, contributing to the very inflammation and oxidative stress that can damage your cells and tissues over time. To avoid this mistake, choose oils that are stable at higher temperatures and rich in healthier fats. Olive oil, for example, is a great choice for low to medium heat cooking. Avocado oil is another excellent option with a high smoke point and a healthy balance of fats. If you prefer to avoid plant oils altogether, ghee or grass-fed butter works wonders for cooking eggs, offering a rich, buttery taste without the harmful effects of refined oils. It's easy to make the mistake of reaching for the cheapest or most accessible cooking oil, but with a little care and attention, you can make a choice that supports your health instead of undermining it. Remember, eggs are a nutrient-packed food, but when paired with the wrong oils, they lose much of their health benefits. So next time you crack open an egg and get ready to cook, consider what oil you're using and make the wise choice. Mistake number 6, storing eggs improperly. A breeding ground for bacteria. Let's move on to another important mistake we often overlook: storing eggs improperly. It might sound trivial, but the way you store your eggs can make a big difference in both their safety and their nutritional value. I know it's tempting to just leave eggs sitting in the fridge door or on the countertop, but that convenience can come at a cost to your health. I can tell you from experience, in my younger days, people were much more careful about where they stored their food. There was an unspoken rule to always store eggs in their carton, and preferably in the coldest part of the refrigerator. This wasn't just for convenience, it was for safety. Eggs, while relatively sturdy, are still a perishable item, and their freshness can be compromised if not stored properly. You see, when eggs are stored incorrectly, they are more likely to be contaminated with harmful bacteria, such as salmonella. This is especially true if you leave them at room temperature for too long or store them outside of their original carton. The eggshell, while protective, is still porous, which means it can absorb odors and bacteria from the environment if left exposed. That's why it's always better to store eggs in their carton, kept in the coldest part of your fridge, away from foods that might contaminate them. The carton helps prevent moisture loss, while also preventing eggs from absorbing strong odors from other foods, which could affect their taste and freshness. There's another reason why proper egg storage is crucial. When eggs are stored improperly, they can age faster, causing the proteins in the egg whites to break down more quickly. This leads to a loss in both texture and flavor. If you've ever cracked open an old egg and noticed how runny and watery the whites are, that's a sign that the egg has been stored improperly or for too long. Many people make the mistake of leaving eggs in the door of the fridge, where the temperature fluctuates every time you open it. This constant change in temperature can accelerate the aging process and increase the chances of bacterial contamination. The best place for eggs is on the middle or lower shelf of the fridge, where the temperature is more consistent. So, take it from me. Don't just throw your eggs anywhere in the fridge. Take the extra minute to place them properly and keep them fresh. You wouldn't leave milk sitting on the counter for hours, so why would you treat your eggs any differently? Keeping eggs in the right conditions ensures that they're safe to eat and maintain their quality, so you're getting the full nutritional benefits they have to offer. It's a small step, but it makes a big difference. Mistake number 7. Ignoring expiry dates and freshness. The risk of eating old eggs. Let's talk about something many of us overlook when we're in a rush: checking the expiry date and freshness of eggs. We all know how frustrating it can be to buy eggs only to realize they're past their prime before we've even had the chance to use them. But here's the thing. Eating eggs that are beyond their freshness date isn't just inconvenient. It can actually be harmful to your health. You see, eggs aren't like canned goods or dry foods with a longer shelf life. They're fresh, perishable items, and over time they degrade in quality. Eggs lose their freshness as they age, and the longer they sit in your fridge, the more likely they are to harbor harmful bacteria like salmonella. If you've ever cracked open an egg and found that the yolk is runny or discolored, or if it smells bad, that's a clear sign that the egg is no longer safe to eat. I remember a time when we were more conscious of food spoilage. We didn't rely so heavily on expiration dates. We trusted our senses and understood the signs of age. We also kept track of how long eggs had been in the fridge and made sure to use them promptly. Today, many of us have grown a bit careless. We tend to ignore the sell-by and use-by dates, thinking that eggs can't possibly spoil that quickly. But trust me, they do. As eggs age, they undergo a number of changes. First, the air cell inside the egg increases in size as moisture and air enter through the shell. This makes the egg float more easily in water, which is a classic test for freshness. The whites also become thinner and more watery, while the yolk may lose its firmness. Most importantly, as eggs sit around, the risk of bacterial growth increases, and with that, the likelihood of foodborne illnesses. It's easy to make the mistake of thinking an egg is fine just because it looks and smells okay, but remember that the freshness of eggs plays a crucial role in your overall health. Consuming eggs that have been sitting around too long can result in food poisoning, stomach cramps, and other digestive issues. The worst part is that these health risks are completely avoidable if we just pay attention to how long our eggs have been stored. A good rule of thumb is to always check the sell-by or use-by date on the carton when buying eggs, and always do a simple freshness test before cracking them open. Drop the egg in a bowl of water. If it sinks, it's fresh. If it floats, it's best to toss it. And don't hesitate to mark the date on the carton when you buy your eggs so you can track their freshness more easily. Keeping an eye on the freshness of your eggs is an easy yet effective way to ensure you're not compromising your health. Conclusion: returning to the wisdom of careful preparation. As we've seen, eggs are one of the most versatile and nutritious foods we can eat. However, when not handled, stored, or prepared properly, they can quickly turn from a healthy, protein-packed food into a potential source of harm. The mistakes I've shared with you today, overcooking, using the wrong oils, eating eggs with the shell, consuming raw eggs, storing them improperly, and ignoring freshness, are common pitfalls that many of us fall into. But these mistakes can be avoided with just a little care and awareness. The wisdom passed down through the generations about food is something that has been lost in the rush of modern life. We've become so accustomed to convenience that we often forget how important it is to handle food with care, especially something as simple and foundational as eggs. If we can take a moment to slow down, choose better oils, check our eggs for freshness, and cook them gently, we can enjoy all the benefits they have to offer without risking our health. I urge you to take a step back and think about how you treat your eggs. Don't just see them as an easy meal or a quick fix for your hunger. See them for what they truly are: a valuable source of nourishment when prepared and consumed properly. It's not about making drastic changes. It's about making small, intentional adjustments that have a big impact on your health over time. Eggs have been a part of our diet for centuries, and there's a reason why they've endured. They're rich in nutrients, versatile in the kitchen, and incredibly affordable. But just as with any food, we must learn to respect them and prepare them with care. When we treat eggs with the same level of respect our grandparents and great-grandparents did, we honor both their legacy and our own health. So, let's return to the wisdom of careful preparation, making sure we're cooking and consuming eggs in a way that maximizes their nutritional benefits, while avoiding the common mistakes that could make them harmful to our health. By doing so, we'll be able to enjoy these humble yet powerful foods for many years to come.